I don't know if it was Arizona or New York or wherever it was, but there was a video. I actually sent it to you. The guy, what was it, James O'Keefe?
Yeah.
And you've had some more time to listen to James O'Keefe, and you kind of get from him. I don't know about, well, you might, but
I think he's
fairly
somewhat
trustworthy.
Well, okay, so yes and no.
Clickbaity, yes.
No. It's not clickbaity that I have an issue. So James O'Keefe strikes me as a person who actually wants to find the truth, but he wants to find the truth he wants to find. If that makes sense. So like we got into a discussion about like the video you're talking about where they have the key on the ballot box.
I can absolutely see that. That's okay. That's
which to be fair, that kind of journalism has its place.
And it's like 90% of people.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. True unbiased journalism is very rare, and it has been. This idea that journalism somehow needs to be unbiased is super. Well, but it's super new though. Like this is not an old concept. Like newspapers back at the beginning of the country, like holy shit, they would by today's standards, it would literally be like one would be like the MAGA Gazette, or like the Democrat, or they shouted their biases from the rooftops.
You knew it. And that's the problem with today. You don't know where anyone's loyalty lies.
Except, honestly, that's why I respect the Daily Wire. Because they come out and say, and outfits like the Daily Wire, I shouldn't say, because like TYT's the same way. At least they tell the truth in terms of where they're coming from. Like, Ben Shapiro is not going to come at things from a liberal angle most of the time, unless he actually believes it's true. And that's why I have respect for them.
Yeah, the Young Turks, they're fucking stupid.
Well, but
what's her face? She comes from a country that's literally in what was it? They're in
she's Armenian.
Palestine. Yeah. So it's like, okay, are you fucking serious with me right now?
Well, not Palestine, Turkey. However, fun fact, I didn't know this until somewhat recently. Anna Kasparian actually got Cenk Uygur to acknowledge the Armenian genocide on air.
And I think it is important to address some of the claims that are going to be made against you throughout this race.
Yes.
Right? So, look, I want to be clear that I have full editorial control on this program now. There's obviously a conflict of interest if Jake had any editorial control, and he does not. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you a question that's probably gonna make you incredibly uncomfortable. You have a past of denying the Armenian genocide, and that is gonna come up during this race.
Yeah. And
so I think it's important for you to discuss the Armenian genocide, both your past position on it and where you stand today.
Yeah, okay, fair. So first of all, the Armenian genocide happened. And if you have read online that when I was a kid in college and even a little bit later than that, when I was a young guy, that I denied it. That is true, okay? And the reason is I grew up with only the Turkish side of the story.
That's actually a big step. That's huge.
I know.
That's big.
You have to Google it.
I love that joke.
Google it. I don't like him at all.
I don't either. See, Cenk's like that too, though.
I wanted to like him. I really did, because I listened to him. And I was like, dude,
I
some of
did
the stuff
too.
you say is so on point.
And he's smart.
He says something stupid.
Well, but that's just it. He's like how I view James O'Keefe. He wants to find the truth, but the truth that he wants to find. Cenk is a very, very smart guy. He's so smart that he can twist and manipulate facts to work for his narrative. Just like Ben Shapiro can, FYI, except I think Ben, like I've heard Ben say repeatedly, he's like, listen, I don't agree with this, but it seems to work. So,
speaking of the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, when she was debating Ben on his show, did you see that?
Yes.
It was a very good debate, and she was actually, pretty respectful and whatnot.
She's a smart one too. She's extremely intelligent.
A lot of these left wing, with not lump these people in with the likes of Hassan Piker, because he's a downright piece of shit human being.
Yeah, he just says shit for like excitement. He doesn't mean anything. He's just an idiot. Especially that line about Dan Crenshaw. That was just like, really, dude. Like, anyway, so
Anna Kasparian, and she was on Ben Shapiro's show when they were going back and forth and whatnot. Like they okay. Let me get back to base. All right, so what I was basically saying was that like Anna Kasparian and Cenk, like they're not like Hassan. Like I would say they're closet conservatives.
Maybe Anna. I don't know about Cenk.
No, I feel like Cenk, dude, because I mean, what country is he? Turkish.
He's Turkish, yeah.
Turkish.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's an immigrant, but he is of Turkish ancestry. Yes.
Turkish. Do you know what they believe on marriage and whatnot, and like what faith are they?
I believe he's a Muslim, or he comes from a Muslim family. I believe he is an atheist, or at least a non-practicing Muslim.
Okay, so then he doesn't follow what they say, pretty much.
I don't believe so. No.
So how are you a non-practicing Muslim? How are you still?
Well, you come from a Muslim family, so you're not really a Muslim at that point, but you're from a Muslim family, so I kind of get it. It's kind of like how like I come from a Christian family, even though I don't practice. Like that's even looser. I don't know. It's
different growing up with religion versus understanding. That's why I think the age of understanding is very important when it comes to shit like this, you know, politics, religion, all of it, you know, like let kids be kids.
Well, but you know what's funny? Speaking about Anna, I don't know if this is Cenk per se, but definitely I believe this about Anna. I think Anna is a person who, for example, Anna sees injustice in the world, and there is absolutely injustice in the world. But I think if you were to actually, which is what Ben does, like for example, is there racism in the United States? Yes, absolutely. Is that the government's fault? I don't think that's a question that. Actually, here's a better example.
You're going from the systemic racism,
right? But here's a better example. So there's homelessness in America. Yes, we can all like. If you have eyes, you can agree on that. I think Anna doesn't take the next step and say, okay, is this the government's responsibility to fix? And that's a legitimate question. The answer may very well be yes. But I don't think she even asked the question. I think she just, in her mind, says, this is an issue, the government should fix it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say like solely the government, but what should be brought back is literally mental institutions, because overwhelming majority of homeless people are mentally ill and they need help. Yep. It's not like I've ran into so many, and like they're not bad people.
No, they just need help.
They're off their, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
They are not in a sound state of mind and are literally incapable of taking care of themselves without assistance.
Like, I want to say, if you don't want to like live in a house and whatnot, you're not in a normal state of mind. But at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of bushcraft people. you ever seen any, you know what bushcraft is?
Yeah.
Like, the shit is amazing what some of these guys do.
It's also largely fake, but...
Oh, no, not the Indian guys, but like a lot of the guys that like literally go out into the woods by themselves. I watched this one guy named Steve Wallace. He literally just goes out and just has beers, whatnot, and just films himself camping in random spots, dude. Like he literally stayed underneath an overpass. He stayed in a storm drain, and like, dude literally cooks whole ass meals while he's there, you know. I love bushcraft stuff.
Oh, he'll survive the zombie apocalypse, but
yeah.
Anyway, so I guess the point is, I think a lot of these people are really smart, and this is true for some conservatives too, that just don't like the homelessness thing. Ask Ben the same question. Okay, homelessness exists. Is this a situation where the government really should get involved? Because I don't think he asks that question to himself. He does sometimes, but that's just one example. Because I'll be honest, I think if the government did get involved legitimately with the homeless, like with the goal of ending homelessness, it
would just get worse.
No, yes, but that's because of how bureaucracy in this country works. Because the same thing happens with nonprofits. It's a giant cluster. But if the government, so like when Kennedy said we were going to get a man on the moon, that was the mission. Do it. I think if it were done that way, I think we get an homelessness in this country like that. But that's not how we do things here because everybody wants to get their cut. You have like there's a YouTube channel called How Money Works, and the guy is brilliant, and he talks about specifically this one was about homelessness, but nonprofits work. I've seen it. Nonprofits work this way all the time. I had a guy come up with me at the mall, and I know the organization Nature. I've heard of the organization before, and he's trying to get me to give him money. I said, okay, where does your money go? And he tells me, like, oh, it goes to, urban revitalization and planting trees, because there's a lot of deforestation. I'm like, yeah, but it's the law in the United States that a lumber company that is not cutting out of a tree farm has to replant trees when they cut them down. So that's bullshit. And what I mean by where does your money go? What organizations do you send it to? What did they do? I said, because honestly, these nonprofits, like they get found out all the time. And it's preposterous because their tax returns are public record, but they're basically legal money laundering organizations because the people that work in these nonprofits, especially the board members, make like 6 to 7 figure salaries to essentially jerk off in their office. Because, newsflash, if the goal of your organization is to end homelessness and after 25 years there's still homelessness, you have fucking failed.
Kind of like cancer research, in my opinion.
Well, same thing, yeah, because they don't make as much.
It's not important at all, but
it's very important. But they're not actually trying to cure cancer; they're trying to keep it in business. Yeah,
yeah, because you make more money that way.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I fully believe we should have billionaires. Because I'm actually, dude, this is way off track, but
when you have people who aren't bought and literally have their own money.
Well, when they have fuck you money, Elon Musk has decided free speech is his current crusade. But let's be real here. Have you seen those Tesla houses?
Yes, I believe though. Elon lives in one.
Yes, he did. He sold his mansion and lives in that one.
The little tiny homes.
But they ain't that tiny.
No, you can get them like tiny, but like.
Well, no, like I think
takes like a day to set up.
Like the base model is $15,000 and it's a 2-bedroom house. And I mean, it's small, but it's probably a little bit smaller than the house I have, but it's a different design, so it feels bigger. I'm tempted, dude. I kind of want one.
I mean, if you don't sell that lot, you put one on there.
But here's the thing, though. Like the house is fairly cheap, but then I have to level the ground and I have to get, all. However, though,
tie into plumbing and.
Well. So the Tesla house actually comes with solar panels, rainwater collection system. So I'd have to get it hooked up to sewage, yes. But I mean, I'll be honest though, it might be worth it because my first concern was, is it insulated? Turns out, yes, it is insulated. And it's insulated better than most homes, apparently.
$15,000 for the base?
Well, I think I've seen 10 and 15,000. I think 15,000 might include the delivery and setup.
And that includes like your freaking stove and
it's fully furnished. I think it doesn't come with a bed, but yeah, appliances and cabinetry is included.
I don't think you have washer and dryer though.
No, but I have a washer and dryer, so.
But I mean, even so, you can just head to the laundromat for $15,000 house. I mean,
yeah, I'll slum it at the laundromat.
Yeah, or build.
There's one down the street. I'm fine.
You build a lean-to.
I mean, really though, think about it. Really, you could
do whatever you want.
But I mean, it comes with a freaking solar panel and Tesla power pack. It comes with it. That would make so much
sense for you because then you would have another rental.
Well, no, but here's my thing though. Scale that down to a single person home, and again, it doesn't have to be the Ritz. But it can be reasonably nice, And how much power would a 1-bedroom, like one bed, 1 bath, tiny home take?
Not a lot.
I think in most, and especially if you've got a battery pack, so that when you have those bright sunny days, you just build a shit ton of those. And I'm sure if you do it at scale, it gets even cheaper. Because keep in mind that $10,000-$15,000, that's them making a profit on that.
I think you would still have to tie into the energy grid.
You would.
I don't think you would actually. There would be no point for you to store that energy. But what you do is that
you store
energy
that.
Is sent back to Duke, and you get paid for it.
I was going to say you store that energy. So you're trying to stay off the grid as much as possible. Obviously, you would tie it into the grid because in places that have like winters, for example, you wouldn't want to be without heat. But I mean, that kind of the solutions are there. They're just not trying to find them.